simple roadmap and the commitment to follow it. So in this video, I'm pulling back the curtain on everything I learned in the last decade and the exact strategies that the top 1% use to manage their finances. This is the only video you need to start building wealth regardless of your starting point. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we're going to get brutally honest about where you stand right now, your real net worth, your true income, and your spending, and whether you're actually building wealth or slowly bleeding money without realizing it. We'll also come up with a very clear plan to tackle any debt that you have. Next, we'll get really clear about your financial goals. And this is all about the life that you want to build. No restrictions, no holding yourself back. We're going to get really clear and really specific. From there, we'll build an action plan around your goals. We'll cover a 12-month plan and also a month-by-month check-in to make sure you're on track. We will then talk about where you can keep your money so that it pushes you towards your life goals faster. Because let's be honest, if it's just sitting in a dead savings account right now, then you're moving further away from your goals instead of towards them. We'll then move on to investing because every year you delay is a year you lose freedom. I'll show you when to start, how to know you're ready, and why it matters more than you think. And then we'll move on to two of the biggest traps most people fall into: car buying, which is the hidden wealth killer that wipes out savings, and I'll show you how to avoid getting ripped off. And finally, we'll put the endless rent versus buy debate to bed. How to decide whether buying a house makes sense for you or whether renting will set you freer faster. And it's one thing to listen, but it's another to actually apply everything I'm saying to your own finances. So as we go through, I'll share examples, mini quizzes, and practical tools to help you put everything into action. If you want to explore any of the templates or the guides that I mentioned, they're all part of my financial wellbeing toolkit, which gives you all the tools that you need to manage your money like the 1%. I've left the details in the video description if you want to check it out. By the end of this video, you can consider yourself financially literate and you'll have the exact roadmap to build a secure financial base. Okay, let's get into it. Starting with section 1, understanding your financial now. This is incredibly important and the very first thing that you have to do. There's a quote that I love: if you do not know where you come from, then you don't know where you are. And if you don't know where you are, then you don't know where you're going. And this couldn't be more true when it comes to your finances, yet most people ignore this step. Before you can make any real progress, you have to know exactly where you're standing today. This is about taking a clear, honest snapshot of your money, your income, your spending, your net worth, and most importantly, the gap between them. I'm going to put some numbers and a tracker on the screen. There are a lot of trackers and tools out there. Use whatever works for you, but the key here, absolutely key, is to keep it ridiculously simple. That's the only way you will actually stay on track with this and it won't feel like a chore. So there are 3 numbers that should live rent-free in your head: your net income per year, your expenses per year, and your income surplus or deficit for the year. And you might be wondering, why are we doing this on a yearly basis? The reason is because doing it on a yearly basis gives you the truest picture of your finances. It captures everything from the one-off expenses, the surprise bills, and all those little things that would slip through the cracks if you only looked at this month on month. It's the most honest, accurate way to do this. Start with your net income. That's the money actually coming in after tax. It's what lands in your bank account. Include salary, any side hustles, dividends, freelancing work, rental income, interest, add it all up across the year. So if you're on a salary, take your monthly payslip number and multiply it by 12. Then look at your yearly expenses. You can use an app or just scroll through your bank statements. Look at both the regular bills and the irregular spending you usually forget about. Now subtract that spending from your income. That number you get, that is everything. It essentially tells you whether you're moving forward or you're staying stuck. If it's negative, you're in income deficit, meaning you're spending more than you're earning. Over time, that will chip away at your savings, it will increase your debt, and it'll pull you further from financial freedom. If it's positive, that's your income surplus. That's the money you have left over. And one thing to add, when it comes to savings and investments, although they're not technically expenses, treating them this way for this exercise and for this step helps you stay consistent with savings because it builds a good habit as you know what you're capable of. And then for the coming months, you can aim for more than that. That is essentially your baseline. We'll come on to this in more detail when we're looking at the future 12 months in the forecast. So here, in this example, we have 4,851 as the income surplus. That's money left over. And the bigger that surplus, the bigger the gap between your income and your spending, the faster you can save, the faster you can invest, the faster you can buy back time, options, freedom, independence. We'll go into all of that in more detail in the coming sections. Now onto your net worth. Net worth, really simple. It's everything you own, i.e. your assets, minus everything that you owe, i.e. your liabilities. Assets are things that you own that have value, like savings, investments, property. List down all of the major purchases and the value of that asset. Liabilities, on the other hand, are debts and obligations that take money out of your pocket. So think mortgage, think car loans, credit card balances, personal loans. The difference is your net worth. And over time, you want your net worth number to increase and have an upward trend. You want to keep using your income to buy assets because whilst your income is important, income's the thing that buys you your lifestyle, but it's net worth that buys you your freedom. That's why this is super important. It doesn't matter where you're starting today. What matters is that from this point forward, your net worth is just moving in the right direction. Later in this video, when we talk about investing, when we talk about buying a home, buying a car, you'll see this pattern show up again and again. Every financial decision you make either builds your assets or it builds your liabilities. Understanding the difference properly is one of the fastest ways to start building real wealth instead of just feeling busy with money. And it all starts right here by taking a really honest snapshot of where you are today. Now, one more thing I wanted to include here, which often gets ignored, is your money personality. The way you view life and view situations has a huge impact, whether you realize it or not, on how you save, what you spend on, how you invest, and even what feels safe or exciting when it comes to money. And the more you understand it, the easier it is to build a money strategy that fits around you and that actually lasts and doesn't feel hard to keep up with. There are loads of quizzes online and they'll give you an idea of what your personality traits are. Most of them also suggest action points on what to look out for and things to be cautious of to make sure you're taking the path of least resistance when it comes to managing your money. Here's one that's included. It asks you 20 questions and based on the way you answer it, it will bucket you into one of 5 money personalities. So at a high level, you have the contemporary. So this person loves living in the moment. They enjoy spending. They're generous with their money. Then you have the enterpriser, highly goal-oriented, calculated with your spending and always planning ahead. You have the minimalist, which values simplicity and security. They're cautious with money and very laser focused on building a really strong and stable